To share his experience on the field, we are joined live at the studio by our news correspondent, Victor Mbadike, who was in Ibadan earlier in the day. Victor, thank you for joining me this evening.
Pleasure, Queen.
So, Victor, can you tell us what the voter turnout percentage across the 12 wards was in Ibadan, Oyo State?
So when I was leaving Ibadan just this evening, I met a police officer at INEC headquarters. You know, he was just hailing us, and he was like, in pidgin, this was an election, which meant that he probably didn't have much to do, despite, kitchen of 7/7. And so, in other words, despite the huge security presence in Ibadan North, to cover the elections or to give security, but they felt that they didn't see any need for such humongous deployment of security for an election that we had very few persons come out, to exercise the franchise. And also forget that Ibadan North is, out of the 33 local government areas we have in Oyo State, is one of the largest in terms of population, over at least 500,000 persons in just that local government. Right. So more often than not, we see politicians, vie for numbers from areas like that to boost their chances of winning elections. So when you now have people who refuse to come out, to exercise their franchise, it leaves a lot to, some of these partisans were really worried. 2:30 was the official time for close, and I saw the way they were, making phone calls, like come out and vote and all that, because they needed those guys to really come out. But just like Tayo Salami said, one of the guys I spoke with, it's a norm, really, and it's really sad that we've not found solutions to these defect of people not seeing reasons why they should, come out to vote. I mean, it doesn't make sense if you are being forced or cajoled to choose your own leaders. You are being forced to make choices. For crying out loud, if you don't come out to vote, if you don't come out to exercise a franchise, what it means is you are depriving yourself of good leadership, as it were, as the case may be. Again, you give room for, incredible or illegal, stuff that happens in elections. You make room for such kind of politics and politics that happens, but by the end of the day, you begin to see some very funny numbers because you refuse to come out. So these are some of the issues where I think that we need to begin to have a rethink. I wouldn't say, yes, people actually came out, but not as expected. Maybe because it's just by-elections. Yeah, it's not a major election, but it's one of the most important electoral process that a lot of people should begin to take cognizance and take seriously. Because anything that has to do with by-elections, local government elections, they're more even important than the government, that's governorship and presidential, because these ones really are even closer to the people.
So, Victor, while you were there, seeing all these expressions and everything from the people who turned out for, the by-elections, were there any incidents of violence, intimidation, or electoral malpractice, reported in that ward?
Well, we were fortunate to visit at least 3 wards, 10, 3, and 7 or so. And in all of the wards we went to, and different polling units, each ward can have as many as 10, 15, 20 polling units. We didn't see or hear of any incidents like, ballot snatching, beavers not working, and all manner of sort. There were no cases. However, we had a couple of persons who reported to us who were fortunate to be in those centers that we were not able to get to. Some observers who told us that they, to precise Ward 6 now, they had beavers issues. Now, the beavers could not capture their faces because the registered face they have in the beavers machine is younger than the face that they have now. So it was rejecting it, and that is some kind of disenfranchisement, and really, which is really sad. For some, it worked. For some others, it did not. So you could see a lot of agitations and anger in their faces that they could not, I hope INEC, if they're listening to this, will work on some of these issues, going forward. I don't know how far the implication of all of this, but I do know that some persons could not vote because of that issue. However, aside from others, aside from this, there's not really been any other report of any illegality, so to speak. The elections, aside from this, has really been credible so far, Queen.
Thank you so much, Victor, for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.